Right, let's see, how many questions have we got here? Oh good lord. Right, well, let's start with the important ones first, shall we? Do I like poop? Well, I mean, you know, it's a process that we all go through each day, on a regular basis, I'd say. Sometimes, you take breaks, because, it gets exhausting after a while doing it day in, day out, and you like to mix it up. And it's also something we do a lot, and it makes us feel more human, brings us down to earth after a day of gallivanting about in our modern society. So, yeah, it can be quite fulfilling to do, so I would say yes, I do. Do I eat a dictionary for breakfast? Well, that's a very erudite insinuation to make. As it happens, I do. Or maybe I was just hit on the head by a dictionary when I was very young. I don't know. You can sort of make up your own headcanon on that. What am I going to do when I reach 1,000 subscribers? This. So this question cropped up a few times. How did I meet my friends? When did we meet? How are we all as well? So I think I'll cover this in one single blow. We met, obviously, as you may have guessed, on RuneScape. It goes back to about 2009. I was friends with a guy I think called something Puppet on RuneScape. That was his username. And I was making a music video. And I needed someone with the summoning cape emote. And he put me onto this guy called Seto Sorcerer. And we met, and he introduced me, and I got him to do the emote, recorded it, and thanked him, and we said goodbye. And that was it for a while, basically. Like, we sort of had each other added, and that awkward sort of interim between adding someone and then that quiet afterwards when you never speak to each other for like weeks. And that went on for a while, and I can't remember what it was that actually sort of kindled that relationship again. I think it was when he was making his Christmas video, 2009 Christmas video on RuneScape, and he needed some people to help him with that. So tit for tat, return the favour. I got involved, and we did some recording. We spent like a whole day just staked out in our rooms recording this stuff, and we had a lot of fun. And it was actually the first time I'd used Skype. This was 2009, and it was the first time I'd used Skype. And I remember I got into the chat room, the conference call, and it was me, Gizzy Gaza back in the day. I think James was there. No, James wasn't there. He was introduced later. And Matt was there. And I can remember sort of around tea time, dinner time, I was trying to eat my dinner, or sort of at my computer, and Seto was doing a bit of a recording with some other people in what was the games room back in the day, and we were sort of like, they were in a room, like a large room, just imagine for those people who don't play, a large room with lots of tables around in it, and they were in the centre. Myself and Matt weren't needed, but just in case we were needed later on, Seto said that we hang around, so we did, and I was eating my dinner. So I was trying to eat my dinner, and Matt was bored. And what does Matt do when he starts getting bored? He starts making random noises, and we were just riffing off of each other. We were just basically annoying Seto. Like, he was trying to get this recording done. He was doing the headbang emote on the door, and opening the door and closing the door, and generally annoying Seto. And we were I was struggling to eat my dinner, put it that way. So yeah, it was just, sometimes with people, you just click, and it just so happened we clicked over annoying Seto, and that's more or less been our pastime since. James was introduced later. I can't exactly remember specifically when. He might have been involved in the recording at a later stage, but I don't really remember that far. He was originally Seto's friend, and again introduced to me, and we sort of formed this circle of friends that sort of made RuneScape videos together for a while, until the whole RuneScape machinima scene started to die and people started to flock to doing Minecraft instead. People like Sky and who's the other chap? Ant Venom. These people all made RuneScape videos originally, and I'd spoken to a few of them on occasion because we all used to know each other, all of us, and we used to help each other out and make videos together. And I realise I got carried away there, Hattie. So in answer to your second question, it's not a case of getting bored of Minecraft. It's not like playing an MMO in that you get bored of it and you quit and you move on to something else. It's like playing any other sort of single player or multiplayer game that's not an MMO, in that you do get bored of it. You know, I've played it since, I think pre-alpha I played it since. I think out of our circle I was one of the first to adopt it. And you know, we've had a lot of fun playing it, but you know, it's 2016 now, for God's sake. I've gotten bored of it. And even if I weren't bored of it, due to the stigma and certain connotations of playing Minecraft and actually putting it onto a YouTube channel, I don't think, as I've said before, that I'm ever going to make Minecraft content. Sorry if that's something you were holding out for, but I'm afraid it's just not going to happen. There may be content on other people's channels that I may be featured in which I may be playing Minecraft with them. Maybe. In which case, bon appetito. Thank you for your question, Miani. Is it Miani? Mian? I'm going to call you Mian. Right, well, this is fairly simple, but it's made more convoluted by my history in that I have two sort of circles of friends. One of them is the circle you're more familiar with, and it's the circle I've just mentioned. And then there's a second circle from when I left RuneScape for about, I want to say 2 years, maybe 3 years originally. And I went off to play other MMOs, one of which was Guild Wars 2, and another one was one that you've probably never heard of called Regnum Online. I went off and played some other games because I simply just got bored of playing RuneScape. This was in about 2011. And I found a new group of friends. And from that group of friends, you know, again, you know, bits break off, people go off and move on to other things. We moved on to Guild Wars 2. So the first group of friends called me by my real name, which is Isaac, because when I first made my character on RuneScape, I didn't know what a pseudonym was. Like, I was a pseudonym, I'll just put my real name, with a string of numbers afterwards. Didn't think anything of it. When I became older and I could see the value of anonymity online, I wanted to change it to a pseudonym, and I went with something with Psy. So with this new pseudonym, I went off to this new circle of friends, what became a new circle of friends on these other MMOs, and they called me Psy. These people called me Psy. So I had one group of friends that called me Isaac, one group of friends that called me Psy. So honestly, you can call me either. It doesn't matter, because I've got friends who call me by my real name, and I've got friends who call me by my pseudonym. Hello, Shadow Knight. What are my favourite colours? Well, you may have guessed from a lot of the themes of colours that have been going on in the channel and like the thumbnails and such, that purple I'm really big on. I like the colour purple. I also like silvers and other sort of neutral colours. Silver, black is obviously, you know, it's quite neutral. It's alright, complements it well. Basically anything that goes with purple. Cat or dog? Cat, I'm afraid. Dogs are alright, but I'm definitely more of a cat person. Number 3, I believe I've answered previously. You can go back and check that if you need a reminder. It's a long and complicated and slightly steamy affair. I do play Pokemon Go, but only casually, and as a result, I'm quite a scrub at it, and I haven't even chosen the team at this point. I think I'm level 5, but I haven't gotten around to choosing a team yet. It's fine to ask, Agent River, you can, but obviously I can decline to answer. It's not the fact that I find it awkward, it's just that I don't see it as a big issue anyway, and between my friends, we're all mutually accepting of one another, either which way, because in the end, it's trivial. What am I studying at university? I am doing a course in games design, or digital games design, and my role in this setup is as a writer, so I'm doing game design but specializing in the aspect of writing for games. I don't know where you get your information from, Lizzie Dat Cat, but if I told you that, I'd probably have to feed you to my cats. That's an interesting question, Ice Lord, thanks for that. I came up with the name Classic Psy because, well, there is, you know, an association with my character as being quite the upstanding, gentlemanly, classic type, you know, very English, and to an extent I would certainly admit that I can be quite stereotypical. I drink tea and such, so it's sort of riffing off of that, but at the same time it's a play on words in that my behaviour is characteristic of only my behaviour. You will never catch me faking enthusiasm, certainly, and you will not catch me faking screaming or shouting. If I do something, it's very much genuine. So whenever I'm being a grumpy git, it's you know, it's classic Psy. It's what I do. Thanks for joining us, Tiger's Pikachu. It doesn't matter if you're new. Most of us are new. The channel's new, for God's sake. What do I plan on doing? Right, well, I'd like to very much continue doing the Terraria series with Matt, but at the moment he's been busy as well, so we'll get back to that at some point, because I was enjoying it and Matt was enjoying it, and also there's room for us to include someone else in it. Someone else could join us. I'd also like to very much continue doing the Magicka 2 stuff, because it's really fun and it's great to edit as well. Also, on the subject of Terraria, there is a sequel I know planned for Terraria with updated graphics and a new engine and a new setting, etc. But it's still sort of, you know, similar game. And I'd like to get into doing that when it releases, so, you know, keep your eyes peeled for that. I'd also like to do some more MMO content, and I'm not talking specifically about RuneScape, because as I've said before, I am an MMO player, I'm not just a RuneScape player. So once I'm more or less done with RuneScape, I'm currently enjoying certainly doing the new quests, well, doing the old quests, not the new quests, although there might be some new ones as well, on a new character. I'm enjoying doing that because, you know, it's a bit of a blast from the past, and it's nice to remind myself of why they were so enjoyable in the first place. But once I get bored of that, I may move on to doing similar content in a similar vein in a different MMO. So yeah, if you like MMOs, then definitely there will be something for you here later on. Thank you for the question. Well, that's quite a mouthful there, Zeta tonight. In answer to your question, yes, the figure in the chair is a depiction of me drawn by my friend Kayla, which was drawn with pictures to sort of go from, so it's sort of drawn with a fair likeness. You know, she's got my messed up mop of hair, and she's got the high cheekbones quite right, and, you know, the dark eyes. The idea of this channel is reflected in this two-chair scenario, and the two-chair scenario is a metaphor. It's an open invitation for the viewer to sort of insert themselves into this scenario that sort of encompasses what this channel is all about. And what this channel is all about is just gaming in good company, and that's what it's meant to be. You know, put your feet up, enjoy some bumfluff chat, and, you know, help yourself to a glass of brandy while you're here. James, I've already told you, I put a bowl in your cage. Now get back down there. What on earth do you think you're doing back up here? What is my favourite game? Now, isn't that a doozy? If I were to answer based on time invested, it would easily be RuneScape, because I've played like over or near to like 500 days of that, but I'm much more of a quality over quantity type of guy. So I think my favourite game, I mean, I was considering, you know, looking at it a lot more objectively, thinking about other possibilities, but no, there's nothing close to it, I'm afraid. Still, my favourite game, without a doubt, has got to be The Witcher 3. It's so good. If you like an RPG game, if you love RPG genres, and you haven't checked it out, seriously, you really should, because it is the epitome of a good medieval high fantasy setting, gritty, adult RPG. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And if you're wondering, yeah, I chose Triss. Thank you for the question, Kat. Would I play any Pokemon emulators? I've played one in the past of... what was it? I think it was like a ROM hack of like an extra hard Pokemon White or something, and it didn't really work out, and apart from anything else, the controls were just so unintuitive, I could not immerse myself in it the same way as playing on the handhelds. So the long and the short of it is, probably not, but don't discount it completely. It may happen, but most likely not. How much tea do I drink on a daily basis, and what kind? I would say I drink a conservative 3 to 4 cups of tea a day. I drink black tea almost exclusively, and I'm not just talking exclusively English breakfast tea as it's referred to, which is milk with sugar and black tea. I drink other types as well. Green tea I'm a little iffy on, it tends to be quite weak and insipid. But jasmine tea is nice, and I do have that occasionally, usually after a meal, when it's nicest. But recently my favourite tea has got to be this black tea that's infused with rose petals. It's really, really quite nice. The rose is like the tonic to a gin. It's lovely, it's light, and black tea is quite, you know, it's a hefty hitter. So if you mix it with rose, it just adds this nice subtlety on the end of it. It's very, very nice, and it's unusually for a black tea. I drink it without milk, although I do drink it with half a teaspoon of honey. My day has been absolutely dandy. Thank you for asking, Ashaki. So that concludes the 1K extravaganza Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I answered as many of your questions as you could feasibly ask me to, because there have been a lot, and obviously there have been some that I've missed. Don't worry though, if you really want your question asked, leave it in the comments of this video, and when I next do a Q&A/news/fan art video, you can get it in for that. Similarly, if you have fan art that you wanted to be featured in this, don't worry, if you post it and to me between now and whenever I make the next video, it will be included in that next video. So don't worry, there's still time, and if you miss the time allotment, then there's the next video. So don't worry, just keep it rolling. So thank you to everyone who has asked me questions. They've all been fabulous. And also thank you to everyone who has done fan art. As I say, it's blown me over completely. The reception has been amazing. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing more of it in the future. Thank you, all 1,000 of you, for making this possible and making this video happen. And I shall see you in the next update video, which will probably happen about 3 or 4 weeks' time, depending on how much happens between now and then. So yes, from me, Sai or Isaac, depending on which one you want to call me. It's fine either way. Goodbye.